You are listening to Let's Go, the weekly anime podcast about weekly anime from Dynamite in the Brain and Secret of the Sailor Madness. So come along and hang with the Let's Go gang. It's Dwayne.
Hello.
There's no Niall, but there is me, Brian. So you have to make do. On this episode, we are covering anime that aired the week of August the 19th to August the 25th, with a couple of exceptions. First exception was planned. That's Neon Roboco, episode 20. Telepathy and Roboco, in which we were introduced to a new member of the class whose name I've already forgotten.
He's a recurring cast member, and I've forgotten his name. He's a psychic boy. We've covered that base now as well.
Yes, he is. He feels like a reference to the Psyche K Shonen Jump strip. You're in his going, oh my goodness, get a load of all these losers. I have to listen to all their minds and how what they say isn't the same as what they think. But it turns out he's stunned. Everybody here is a blank slate. What they say is what they mean.
With one exception, obviously. But he's very close to being that edgelordy psychic character. He's not wearing a single glove, but he does have a scar going through his eyebrow, which is pretty cool, but also edgy. But yeah, no, everyone here is super nice. So it's like, he's like Bungo kind of turns out, hey, new kid, I'll let me show you around, and I'll be your friend if you're brand new to the school. And he's like, all right, what's in it for you, pal? And inside Bungo's mind is, wow, a new guy to be friends with. This is great. It's just like, wait, what? The bullies come along and are nice, outwardly bullying, but inwardly very, very nice and helpful, because that's just who they are.
Yes, because he thinks Gashi Gorilla is going to be
the tough guy. He thinks he's going to be the kid from Doraemon. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the particular phrase used for that type of character. So this is like chapter 53 of the comic. Because I looked it up, because when he gets into reading Roboco's mind, then it's very confusing, because for one, you shouldn't be able to read a Robo.
He was excited that an order maid was coming, because it's a lot hearing everyone's voices, but order maids don't have hearts. They don't have minds that can be read. So it's like, it's a bit calming for him. But Roboco is a constant barrage of thoughts that are things that she's saying, things that are counter to the things that she's saying, other things that she's thinking about at the same time. She's too much.
She is. And if you read this week's chapter of the comic, there is a genuine plot reason that has just been revealed for this.
That might be why they kind of bumped up this chapter earlier on in the thing, because it's like, there's a bit of synchronicity between it. Yeah.
Sorry, I wrote chapter 51 is what it was. So then he becomes a parody of Blue Box.
Yeah, Blue Box, or any number of kind of visual novel things where it's like, the girl you grew up with, maybe she likes you. That it feels like a visual novel type situation anyway.
Yeah. But yes, Roboco is convinced that he's staring at her knees.
Dear. And he has to.
Before we get to the knees, we do get perhaps the sexiest animation of Roboco we've had yet, because she's reading.
How can you say this with her knees constantly exposed the way they are?
Yeah, so he goes into this like dream world where Roboco is like this big sister figure to him rather, and he begins to feel attracted to her, and then he snaps out of it and is shocked that he now finds Roboco cute.
Actually, this kind of feeds into recent Witch Watch chapters as well, where you're being subsumed by someone else's internal thoughts and fantasies about themselves, that kind of thing. It's a fun trope, and it's done pretty funnily.
Yes, but it's entirely possible, as we get this in the current chapter, that these things he was reading of Roboco's mind may have actually happened to
entirely possible. Yeah.
Yes. Will they ever make enough Roboco animation for this to be relevant? Possibly not. Either that, or the movie is the current arc, which is in the comic.
Yeah, it does feel like a movie adaptation. I mean that as a compliment. It's having a good time.
Yeah. Then what we accidentally didn't watch, Zom 100, Bucket List of the Dead, Episode 5, Hero of the
Dead. In my defense, it is spotty at best in terms of release, so I wasn't paying attention when it came out last week. Yeah.
Not going to get any more stable. So yes, he remembers what his childhood dream was, and that was to be a superhero. So he sets out to be a superhero by going to the aquarium and getting a bite-proof suit so that he can fight zombies and save people.
This is absolutely how would you survive the zombie apocalypse type situation, the World War Z survival book. It's that kind of thing, but I do kind of love it. It's like, I'll get myself this is a Shark Tank wetsuit, so it looks like a superhero suit, but it's also bite-proof for sharks, so definitely bite-proof for people. What could go wrong? Nothing could go wrong. This is perfectly acceptable as an idea that I want to fulfill.
Yes. And so there's like a coach full of people who are trying to get out of the city, and our smart woman who we've met before is with them. We get her name in this episode.
Yeah.
And there's a zombie on the bus, so they have to flee. Somebody got on the bus who'd been bitten. They have to flee. They head to the aquarium. There's a schoolgirl who is very selfish throughout the entire episode.
Yeah, initially it's like an innocent to be protected, and then it kind of, as it goes on, more and more selfish as the thing, because it's like, oh, someone save me, and a superhero arrives to fight off the zombies, and she's just like, fucking wow, okay, didn't expect that, and it's like, everyone to the aquarium. And as he's being overwhelmed by zombies, his best friend is like, all right, you take care of those guys. I'll see you later. I'm just going to close this door because I did not get a shark-proof suit that I spray painted to look like a superhero. And he's getting bitten by the zombies. So he's feeling the bites, but he's not getting like teeth into his flesh. But his arms and legs and whatnot are being crushed by zombies. So, yeah.
Yeah, so then at some point Shizuka gets separated from everybody else. Is that when the shark, the zombie shark, which has swallowed?
I fucking love the zombie. So they're like, a lot of the guys retreat to the thing. He eventually makes his way back in by just lobbing each zombie into the river one by one. I assume over the course of several hours. So when he makes his way back to the aquarium, they're kind of having a look around in there, and they discover the zombie shark, which is obviously a zombified shark. But the zombie shark is eating divers, which, because they were bitten by a zombie shark, are also zombies. So it's kind of like a pantomime horse / human centipede horror situation there. And initially I think it was like, oh, is this like a mutation thing? It's like, no. The zombies inside the shark are alive, and their legs automatically want to run towards sound. And so the shark is running towards sound. And I was like, that's really fun.
It's a much better version of last episode's fireman who's shooting fire out of his...
Yeah, it's more logical as a progression. Yeah.
So
there's a land shark.
Shizuka gets pushed out of the way by that schoolgirl. She gets trapped with the shark. So Akira goes to rescue her, which she can't make sense of this because she's already regretting teaming up with people.
Yeah, and she gave them a right bollocking for, why would you help out a stranger? That's stupid. And she kind of goes through all the reasons why logically, obviously you're trying to cope for your own poor masculinity and this kind of, she has this all thing, and they're just like, she's really fucking argumentative. Holy shit. We can't be dealing with that. But he's going to save her anyway, because that's the thing he wanted to do, be a hero. His friend is also inspired. He's like, I can't also do it. I can't bring myself to help my friend. I'm not brave like him, but I can take all my clothes off and dangle my arse in front of the zombie shark to get it distracted for a moment. And she kind of takes his putting himself out there to help her as the thing. Is just like, all right, I need you to trust me, because we're gonna she's gonna put together like basically a stun gun, like a very quick one, so that he can punch the shark with batteries into the nose, because that's where the shark's sensors are. Yeah. Because
we get a science lesson on how sharks detect things.
while they're running away from a zombie shark, a zombie land shark, she has her phone out and she's explaining this to him, which is really funny to me that she goes to that level of detail. You could just go, "We're gonna zap him in the nose." Okay, that would have been fine. You didn't need to explain the science, but okay.
They end up splitting up again at the end, and the pair of them decide that they're going to go and see Akira's family in the countryside because it's too dangerous to remain in the city.
Yeah, but she does go, "Listen, you guys are probably going to die in a very stupid way, so I guess I can share my contact info with you finally." Yeah, so he has her phone number. Will he be able to use it anytime soon? Probably not, especially with the scheduling of the show.
Yes. Yeah. It does feel like they might get 8 episodes out this season and then have to figure out how the remaining 4 are going to be shown to anybody.
Are we going to get the 4th character at all before this thing stop? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because for all the production problems, it's not like they're skimping on the animation. This is probably the best looking episode so far.
They definitely had someone like on the particular shark fight sequence they were doing like really like crazy camera spins around and that kind of stuff. They were going all out in it. Yeah.
Yeah, but from the storytelling point of view, the problem I've still got. It's not the logic this time, but it's the sort of you introduce loads and loads more characters who we'll never see again in this episode.
Yeah.
And there's like a callousness to the disposability of the people who aren't in the opening credits.
Yeah, it's very much so like playing with your zombie movie tropes of lots of other people are experiencing their own version of a zombie movie. And those motherfuckers probably die because we know how these fucking things go. It doesn't really care about anyone who's not in the fucking intro, basically. Yeah.
But normally in these things, you don't see any of those other people.
Yeah, this is making it as like everyone's going through their own zombie apocalypse situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's kind of like there's still plenty of people who aren't zombies at the moment, and you keep on running into them, and they keep on dying, but our heroes keep on surviving. I'm not sure I like that as a tone story.
See, it's supposed to be like take it easy, don't think about it too much, but like it does sometimes go like, wow, I guess people really have feelings and emotional fucking things. Like, and the point of it is like, and she states it at the end, it's like I'm trying to avoid becoming a zombie, but I saw you guys made a list of things you want to do before becoming a zombie, so you've already fucking given up. Essentially, is the way she looks at it from their point of view, but they're living for hope, and it's just like so there is like emotional stakes to it. You just went, don't care about these fucking guys with less character design. They're not important.
Yeah, it's kind of the same problem I had with Buddy Daddies, where seems to be it doesn't take the lives of human beings beyond our main characters seriously in the slightest.
Yeah, and things we have enjoyed that like could be cynical, tend to avoid that by doing something else, like Spy Family obviously avoids doing that by having very little people fucking die, like having the stakes seem big and then be taken down low again, and so it manages to keep that light tone throughout. Whereas, like you said, there's a bunch of cynicism at this.
Yeah, normally I like the tonal dissonance in things, but like I said, this works.
Though.
It works better than Buddy Daddies does for me.
Yeah.
I'm still watching it, whereas Buddy Daddies, I bounced off that almost instantly. So, anyway, the good news is I don't have to watch it every week.
That might help as well. Sure, it's a treat when you get it.
Then we got Dark Gathering episode 7, S Tunnel, in which they combine their powers to go divining for ghosts, and they determine that there's a ghost in this tunnel. Go and get this ghost. Problem is, turns out there's multiple ghosts in this tunnel, and they accidentally bring one home.
I did like the kind of check in the back of the car. It's like, hey, that's the wrong fucking ghost. Just kind of ridiculous stuff. You managed to catch some random old dude ghost, not like a haunting ghost, just some guy who died and didn't know he was dead ghost. But whoops. Yeah.
Also, in this episode, Aiko learns that, hang on a second, you're putting them in dolls and then bringing them back to my house.
Yeah, she didn't know that up to this point. I mean, it creeps her out, but obviously, as we know, also turns her on. So, that's not really a big problem.
Yes, there's definitely one scene in this where she is both creeped out and turned on, and the face again. But yes, he accidentally brings another ghost home, and he goes back to his house, and then swallows him up inside its skirt, and so
yeah.
yeah,
Strangles him onto the ceiling with its hair initially, but yeah.
They have to feed his mum a line of bullshit about him forgetting his phone. And how do they exercise him this time? Oh, she throttles it with its own hair. That's what
yeah. Because she did spend the time in the tunnel establishing the rules with this particular ghost. Okay, so the sightings are sometimes you see a woman crawling on the ground behind the car, but when you look around, she's not there. Sometimes you see a woman with a baby. Sometimes you see a woman who hits off the bumper of the car and goes flying over it. So they have to establish let's try and run over the ghost. It's all right, so the ghost would either pass through the car, the ghost would come into the car. And since the ghost didn't come into the car and she got hit by the car when we ran her over, we have to open the door to let her in, which she then immediately does to let her into the car to catch her, but catches the old man ghost by accident. Yeah, and then the ghost follows them. It specifically follows our guy home because he's the tastiest to ghosts, I guess. Yeah.
Well, I guess because we know he's a beacon to ghosts. He's a decoy. Yeah. That's just part of the team, as explained.
Ghosts really want to murder him. Yeah.
All teamwork. You did your part. It's a decoy.
Yeah, that's your role in this.
Yes, there's a fun bit where she's throttling the ghost to let him free. Otherwise, I'll kill you.
I think she says something just let him go, and the ghost obviously oh fuck, I'll let him go. It's I didn't say I'd let you fucking go. And the ghost is oh shit, oh fuck.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much all that happens, and it's a breezy fun time in the old spooky tunnel.
It's a breezy, fun, horrific time, but yeah, it's establishing your specific ghost tropes and investigating them, not by doing any kind of spirit. The closest thing to spiritualism is all right, try this little pendant thing. It's all right, ghost that way, cool. And also
and the important thing is he's done such a good job as being a tutor, because they point out she can't go out hunting ghosts until she's finished doing her exercises.
Yeah.
It's done such a good job is that they found him another girl to tutor. When you know it, she also has weird eyes.
Yeah, and she's in the intro, and as I think the two girls pointed out already, this is a harem anime, kind of. One guy, a bunch of girls, that kind of way. Yeah.
I think it's a guy, his girlfriend, and their adopted children.
Yeah.
Probably how it's going to play out. Because there was some funny stuff with him her forcing him to say that they're boyfriend and girlfriend.
Because he's worried about ringing the doorbell. It's just oh, we're going out now, and she's oh, what's the password? It's the thing we are, and you can't say childhood friends, schoolmates, or another thing that you could say that they are grouped together with. And he's going out is ding ding ding, you fucking got it.
I guess we could say we've been dating. It's just no, it's 3 words, and then we're boyfriend and girlfriend. So he, despite the confidence last week, he had quickly then that had receded again by this week.
As we have established, he is also into it in his own way, but he is also a coward. So yeah.
Then we got Helck, episode 7, the Human King, in which the demons discuss the Human King for much of the episode.
The Demon King seems creepy as well, so worth talking about.
Yes, you can resurrect those knights only when they've been awakened.
So the idea is because your man has all the winged knights caught up in trees, and they're just all right, fucking, you think you have us, but it's not going to work. And then a bunch more knights come, shoot all their own boys, and then leave, and they're just what the fuck? That's fucked up. And the idea is the king. It's like video game rules. If the hero dies, the king can resurrect him. So the king is the support for the hero. But all of these guys are heroes, so the king can resurrect his entire fucking army. He just needs to make sure that they fucking die wherever they go. They can't be caught alive, basically.
And we should also say the human king is just something inside a suit of armor we can't see the face of. So the word given the abilities is highly questionable at this point.
The king of the humans is not necessarily a human king. Yeah.
So their plan is they know they're going to go. The humans are going to attack the castle they just defended. So we're going to let them do that while they're busy doing that. We will build up defense at this other castle 4, isn't it? And
yeah.
And because that's the key place to defend. And meanwhile, I'm going to open up the portal just a little bit. Says Azadora.
I can only open up a small portal because it takes a lot of magical power. That's why it destroyed the crystal that was keeping this place free of the miasma.
Items to give to Vermichan so she can get back here. This magic wand, which will point in the direction of the Empire, so she can follow the stick and get back to us. I've got a letter which explains how the stick works, and I've a Mandarin, her favourite food, Shiva happy. Open up the portal, push it through. It's immediately found by Pee-wee. Pee-wee's like, what's this fruit on the ground? Yum, 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 very delicious. Meanwhile, Mirio is trying to cook
a lunch nicer than Helck's, basically, to spite him. But where he's excited for lunch, basically. So
and Pee-wee helps her stoke the fire with this twig he just found and the paper he just found.
It's a very funny way to how easily the plot could be resolved. And no, characters are too fucking dumb. Don't question shit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's also because so much of the episode was like going into diagrams of the technical details of how the magic works in this world, and then for it just to end with their plan completely going to shit because this weird little bird creature just misinterpreted what he found. What I mean, it's the sort of thing you'd find on the beach, washed up on shore, and you go, yeah,
a stick, some paper, and orange. Yeah, that's not weird to find on the ground. It's weird that you'd eat it off the ground, as she points out to the weird bird guy. Don't eat things you find on the ground. But it's also, your mom was like, it's a desperate plan, but hopefully she'll be in exactly the same place she was when she initially teleported, and also she'll manage to find these. So it was kind of like, it wasn't necessarily going to work. It was a pretty desperate one. They understood that. But it would have resolved the plot pretty fucking quick. So, you know.
I assume the witch, when she comes down from a mountain, will fix this situation.
Yeah.
Still left dangling from the previous episode. And also she gets annoyed that Helck likes her cooking because she doesn't think her cooking is as good as Helck's.
She can't surpass him in cooking.
But Helck's just too nice. I'm sure he just likes it. He's just not going to distinguish between his food and somebody else's.
Yeah. Helck's just a nice guy who wants to kill all humans. And as the show goes on, you're kind of thinking, maybe that's a good fucking idea. These humans are up to shit.
Probably just some specific humans is probably what he...
I mean, like, if the human king is like some kind of lich that is resurrecting an army of immortal heroes, or resurrecting heroes, it's probably bad for the world. And they do have the map of, it's just like, all right, we have the demon realm in the middle of the continent. We've got the north and east and west realms, or whatever the fuck they're all like very high ranked, whatever the fuck they are. They're not the human realm, which is here, which is C ranked. Except I'd raise up the rank because they have a resurrecting army of heroes, so that's bad. And I was like, okay, so there's whole other things besides demons and humans in this world we haven't even gotten close to, basically.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, it's like the great empire where the dragon resides, apparently, but it's also known as Demon World. 15 by the Emperor. Oh yeah, here's the map here. Yeah.
So I'm wondering if the demon realm, what would it being in the middle of all this shit and having a fucking thing of miasma over it, is some sort of linchpin to the whole caboodle?
Yeah, so Eastern area, Eastern threat, human world, Southern threat, something else. Yeah, something else threatens from the south, something else threatens from the west.
Yeah.
something even worse. The humans apparently are the least threatening thing, according to this.
The thing of least concern. That what's bad about humans is every couple of 100 years they resurrect a new hero, and then that gives us a whole fucking thing. But that's only every now and again, so that's not a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. So the question is, how are they mass producing heroes?
Which would explain that the demons like regularly. It's like, hey, our demon lord has been killed. Let's hold a tournament for the next demon lord. Just like, yeah, this happens now and again. You just have to fucking go with it. You know, nothing to be done.
Then we got Undead Girl Murder Farce, episode 8, The Banquet, which everybody faces off against each other. We've got Aleister Crowley versus Holmes and Watson. It's very much like your guy out of Robo, even more this week than it was last week.
Yeah. I do like he's switching up between like darts and explosions and fire, like depending on what way he clicks. And I do like the way Holmes is like, have you got any bullets left? It's like, no, we've used up all our bullets. Like, I'm gonna use Baritsu. I'm gonna do it. Like he's so excited. Yeah, but he's so like, I really want to do my Sherlock Holmes kung fu on him. It's very important that I get to do this.
Yes, particularly because I think it insulted like a couple of episodes ago. So
yeah, you're too old to be going around like that anymore. That kind of thing. I think his brother was saying, but his brother would. His brother was always a naysayer to him. So
Mycroft not to go to hand in combat. Yes, but he does. He unarms Crowley and stabs him with his own poison.
So he's forced to use his antidote on himself, and yeah.
Crowley, being the human, definitely seems also like the least wicked of Moriarty's crew.
He does like tricking people into thinking he's magic and murdering them en masse, so that's not great, but yeah.
Does he say yeah, but there's some dialogue where he's like he'd be willing to like switch sides. It seems to
if it was beneficial to him. Yeah.
Then we get Carmilla, isn't it?
That's Carmilla, the vampire.
Yeah, fighting the maid.
I'm glad this finally got to a point where it explained why are there women having sex in the opening bit. I was just like, I was always wondering about that quick shot, and I was like, what's that about? And I was like, oh, this explains it. This whole fight explains that. That's okay.
Yes, because she's the scary lesbian vampire, is what she is.
Yeah.
Where I guess I'm vaguely familiar with the story, but only through it coming up in being influenced for Hammer horror type things.
Yeah, I mean, like it is a huge influence on pretty much all vampires, anyway, especially like the sexy vampire genre. Yeah.
Yes, but it turns out while she manages to control the maid briefly, she's not as good a lover as her mistress, so therefore she's able to resist.
Yeah, she's got a lot more experience than you do, despite the fact that you can hit me with sex pheromones and stuff. I was thinking kind of a Star Fox with the Incredible Hulk situation. It's like, I'll overwhelm him with waves of pleasure, and it's just like, no, that's not gonna work on this maid. She's had it too good for up until recently, basically. Yeah,
so she jams a crucifix into the wounded Camilla's shoulder. So meanwhile, fighting over the gem, Lupin pushes a church organ on top of the guy from Royce.
Lupin and our boy decide, let's team up and take out this guy, and then we'll fight each other. This guy seems to be the problem right now. Your man's like, all right, I'll distract him. You drop an organ on him.
Fatima's chasing
again because he does the whole the Rakugo thing again as a distraction. Let me tell you a story, and it's like, I'm distracting. That's his whole thing. It's great.
Yeah, Fatima's chasing the Phantom. They both end up in the church with everybody else.
I do like the way the Phantom doesn't look like a punk in this one. He's like, I have mastered sound. You can't find me. You know, that kind of. He's just been a real creep in the dark, basically. He's like, okay, you're not a total punk. That's okay. That's good.
Yes, but then Fatima almost instantly gets killed when Jack the Ripper shows up.
Jack the Ripper shows up and eviscerates her, turns her into mincemeat and ribbons, basically. It's just like, fucking hell. I'm not even sure if the other guys did, because he gets slapped into a wall into a bloody smear and does not appear for the rest of the episode. So while she's 100% dead, like I wasn't too sure about him.
I think from the dialogue, I think we're supposed to assume that he's fine because we were told that he could survive church organ being dropped on his head. So I assume
that's true. Okay. And he hasn't been ripped by Jack, so yeah, he's probably good.
Jack picks up the diamond, at which point Lupin says, "Okay, that's it. I'm out of here.
Phantom, let's fucking bail." It's like we're not getting it back off him. Too rich for my blood. Let's just fucking leave. And in the meantime, after Holmes is defeated, your man, the Moriarty shows up, and Moriarty's like, "Hey, how's it going, Victor? My chair." And gets him a big chair so he can sit down and explain his whole plot. We do get a bunch of obviously in that scene she's not doing a lot of fighting. What with being a severed head, but she's there and also asking questions and paying attention as well. So that it's kind of good. It's like, "Oh, you're the motherfucker who stole my body. All I had to go on was the M on your fucking cane." And he's like, "No, you cut me off of that. That's pretty good going." And he's just Moriarty's such a shitty guy. It's perfect. Like when Watson points out, it's like, "Oh, you did this thing." It's like, excellent fucking deduction, Holmes's assistant or something like that. It's like, I don't even know your fucking name. That kind of shit. He's so good at being a bastard, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, his thing seems to be he's trying to make Jack into like the ultimate being.
Yeah. After my last thing went to shit, I decided to take on an apprentice, the guy who committed the perfect crime in Whitechapel a few years back. So I'm going to make him into an Oni. We experimented on a bunch of Oni. And I'm going to slap on a bunch more monsters on top of that because I could do that. So at the moment, he's a vampire Oni human, Jack the Ripper. Yeah.
Yeah, so presumably that's why they want to find the werewolves.
That's what they're like. It's like, "Oh, you're looking for werewolves next." It's like, "Yep, we're working our way through all the monsters, and he's going to be every monster, basically."
So yeah, they're facing off or having a chat while Suguru fights Jack. He throws Fatima's heart at him.
as a like a blah, like a you had to slice that up, and I'm going to punch you through that. And Jack clearly is very superior to him because it's kind of like, "Oh, you punched me there and it actually didn't heal. That's unusual, but like I'm just barely managing to not cut you to the bone." With his ripping powers, his vampire ripping powers, I presume. But yeah.
Yeah, so they have a fight, and the fight turns out is essentially Suguru convincing Jack that he's not worth fighting, so that Jack will turn away thinking that he's won. And then at the end of the episode, we'll have a little flashback.
Even the thing of him kind of going like he's beaten the fuck up, he's lying down, he's really battered and bruised, and Jack's like walking away. He's like, "Oh, you're not going to come finish me off?" It's just like, "No, I got everything I need." And Suguru's like, "Everything according to plan," basically.
Because he's cut his pocket and took the diamond in the middle of the fight.
It's a pretty great reveal where, back in Moriarty's thing, and it's like, Jack, the diamond, if you please. Excellent work. And it kind of puts his hand in his pocket, and everyone's reaction to him putting his fingers straight out the bottom of the hole in his pocket. It's like, oh shit. It looks bad for them. But our lady head detective has also figured out the whole thing. It's got a secret message if you hold it up to that arc light there, Sherlock Holmes. It's like, oh, of course, the werewolves are in the Valley of the Fangs or something like that.
Yes.
Why didn't we think to look there?
It is the place you'd think the werewolves would be living.
But maybe there's a werewolf valley next by, and you would have convinced yourself that one.
I guess back to Germany for the next arc. I assume that's the last arc for this series.
Yeah, probably.
What was the other thought which just flitted past my brain and went out the other side? No, it's gone now. Oh yeah, the guy from Royce. He explains that like Fatima is a zealot for hunting monsters, but for him it's just his job.
Yeah, he does hate them, but yeah, it is. She was a believer, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, she'd be hunting monsters regardless. Whereas,
he's just part of an insurance broker.
Yeah, I guess his thing is that he's a clean freak, isn't he? So I guess he considers like monsters some sort of.
If we could kill all monsters, that'd be great for me because they are a stain on humanity, basically. Yeah, something like that, probably.
I mean, they do seem to leave blood everywhere. So
there is that. They make a bit of a mess.
Yeah. So, back to Germany, I guess, next time, into the woods.
The other thing we get is like Jack kind of wondering is like how the fuck Suguru is also part Oni. Is like we killed all the fucking test child Oni we were experimenting on. Is like, oh wait, there was that one that escaped, but we figured he'd too much Oni in him, so he was going to die. He was going to turn into an Oni and kill himself, like the test subjects ended up doing. But he hasn't, and he didn't, and now he has less fucking ability to do so since he has a severed head to make out with. See how that goes.
They don't know that's how he's staying.
They don't know that's how it's doing it. Yeah, but
and also
the immortal flesh is one of the things they wanted to add to Jack as well, which is why they stole her body in the first place.
Yeah, why haven't they been able to do anything with it yet?
I presume because it regenerates into itself rather than unless Jack wants to fucking get a head transplant. Basically, I think he's probably stuck.
I mean, that's kind of what I was expecting. Moriarty was going to
have like a lady's body. Yeah, that would be great.
He had a lady's body under his heavy coat. That was kind of where I was expecting it to go. Like later, he needed that to stay alive after falling off the Reichenbach Falls. So.
And every time it shows like a flashback in this, and it does like the old like video footage for some reason. It doesn't quite work, but I like the multiple shots of the Reichenbach Falls. Oh, I haven't seen you since the falls. You know, I was just like, this just show is very, very cheesy, very extra, and it's a lot of fucking fun.
It is, yeah. There's I guess they put out the first 3 volumes of the comic adaptation in 2021 in English.
Okay.
I see why that's not been anymore, because they didn't release the 4, 5, and 7 until July in Japan this year. They released volume 4 of the book in July this year, so it's all according to Kodansha's plan. The anime being on at this time and then releasing more books. Then we got Bungo Stray Dogs, episode 57, At the Port in the Sky, part 3. What are we going to do? I can't get this box open. I know. I will launch Vampire War.
They'll have to give me the I forgot what the magic radio is called. One command or something like that.
One order.
One order. They'll have to give me the one order once I tell all the vampires to go crazy. Which, yeah, it's kind of the plan. But also we have our little kid going. It's like, hey, I was going to call him Vlad. Bram, can you distract the vampires? It's like, nope. The only guy who can control me is your man. And he's like, are you a good runner? And she's like, yeah, I'm a pretty good runner. I'm the best runner in my class. He's like, cool. Start running. There's a vampire here right now. So she has to go on a runner. And finally, for a very short amount of time for the episode, having super strength is a good power for once ever. For short time, at least, anyway.
Oh, yes. Because our farmer boy shows up and kicks some ass.
Apparently, having super strength is good against a bunch of airport security vampires. Yeah, very, very good. And Bram Stoker is so fucking impressed. He's like, boy, you there, are you a farmer? Would you till my land? And he's just like, no, I got a farm on myself and I got a side job as a detective, so I can't really be doing that.
Yeah, so he ends up though facing off against Techo from the Hunting Dogs and his infinite sword. And Atsushi appears to be running straight into a trap. From what's her name?
Oh, I call her a kid. She's a kid most of the time, but she's not.
Teruko Okura, yes, because she takes on the appearance of.
Because I like the thing I'm saying is like, okay, the best thing of this plan is speed, is of the essence. You're the fastest fucking runner we have because you turn into a tiger. So, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna find it. What's that, little girl? You need help? And she's like, aha, you need help. And he's like, no, actually, I came here to find you. Check out this video of your mate saying, shit's fucked. He's like, clearly it's doctored. He's like, it's not though. And she's like, can I talk to Rampo? Maybe he could convince me. And he's like, I'm gonna have to ring him and see if that's cool, because you could just murder us all basically if I take you into our secret room.
And then she's got a sly smile on her face, like this is all going according to her plan, or perhaps Fukuchi's plan.
Because, like, is she more about justice, or more about Fukichi, or more about what she thinks Fukuchi represents in terms of justice? And therefore, can she be turned against this magic thing of nobody believes the evidence you present?
Yeah, I'm going to guess that she can't, but then maybe Techo can, because
the fact that makes me think that she can potentially, but I'm not sure of the angle, is the fact that he's nervous that any of the hunting dogs could turn against him if they find out what the fuck he's up to.
Yes.
Mm.
That's the stuff at the airport. The real fun stuff, though, is happening in the prison.
I mean, the airport's pretty fun, but yeah, the prison is fun, fucking class.
The thing of, here's what you got to get through. You got to get through these doors. You got to get through heavy water. You got to get through all these guards. You got to get through the security at the top. You got to get outside the building.
You got to get to the helicopter pad and get to all this shit. And so I will offer you a choice of the following: my lovely assistant, bring out the fucking stuff. And he's like, why the fuck am I the assistant? It's like, you're not doing anything else. Bring out the tray of stuff, which is like, what is it? Like a guard radio, explosive coins from the fucking casino,
security pass,
which is the one thing you need to get to through the final gate. You do need that one.
And your radio to radio your friends once you get to
like a satellite phone, so you could basically call in someone from the outside. So Dostoevsky, being smart, chooses the key that you do need to open the last door. And then our guy's like, I choose the lovely assistant. Is that on the table? I feel like that I should be able to choose that.
Yes, and Gogo thinks that's great. What a wonderful twist. Sure, you can take Sigma as your item of choice. That
poor brand new bastard has no fucking choice in any of the proceedings that's fucking happening. He just wants to get out of there. But yeah.
And then they start dancing.
Dazai's like, it's like a ballroom. I've been in prison for months now. This is great. And he's being romantic, trying to win him over, kind of thing. And he's doing his standard thing of, it's like, oh, what's that? You don't like me. Time for me to win you over with my charm, basically, is what he's doing. That he does to so many young men, it seems, in this fucking show.
Yes. But meanwhile, Sigma's thinking about what's actually going on here, which is, this is all part of Gogo's plan to find out what the fuck is Dostoevsky's power.
Yeah. I have to see him use it. I am testing him to see what it is, so I can fucking murder him.
Yes, so yeah, he does still want to murder him himself.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's the setup going forward for the next arc, which is already out, so it started auto-playing, and I can't quite remember now where this episode ended. I think
this episode ends with because Dostoevsky's just sitting down, like not actually going through the maze, and your man's like, you're on a clock here. I put like timed poison in your body, right? And he's like, yeah, I'm just waiting for our gravity guy to come in, who's a vampire now. So the gravity guy is there to save Dostoevsky? Question mark? We don't know.
Yeah, and Techo and Kenji, is he stuck on the sword at the end, or are they both down at the end?
He's down at the end because he actually went into a contest of strength against your man, and as we know, he's superhumanly enhanced and therefore stronger than the guy whose power is being super strong. It's like, oh my god, fucking the guy you cannot catch a break. Bullshit.
And we got Terrako's grin as if she's up to no good. That's where we leave it all. What could possibly happen? Can they possibly bring this to a satisfying conclusion, given that this story arc is not finished in the comic yet?
We don't know. No one can know, I guess, except the original author. But other than that, yeah.
Yes, yeah. I think, let me just check that it was running into the story. It wasn't like suddenly going, oh, Shuya's here, let's have one of the light novels about Shuya and Dazai.
Yeah.
Because I was almost like, I feel like that's what I would do if this story hadn't finished. Let's take a look. What does it say? The land of inhuman demons. The thumbnail is still Sigma and Dazai wandering around corridors, so it looks like we're still
Yeah, it is. It isn't called the port in the sky anymore. So presumably shit's gonna change at least. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So continues to be good. The tension carries on, racking up higher and higher.
We've got the in-plot tension of like everything going wrong that possibly can go wrong, and just like for the good guys and the bad guys and the other bad guys. So you have all this stuff, but you also have the tension of, and when are they going to run out of material? Any fucking kind of like checking your watch is like, are we going to run into a light novel? We'll have to see.
No, I think that there's enough material to get to the end of the season. It's just what do you end the season on is the question, I think.
Yeah.
And it may be a very long cliffhanger.
Which is unfortunate because this season's been. I mean, when the show is good, it's very good, but this season's been great. So yeah.
Yes. Then we got Hyakushou Kizoku Noble Farmer. I should just call it Noble Farmer. Then I'm not.
You can just call it Noble Farmer. It's fine.
Dogs and Cats is the episode for episode 8, which they're talking about dogs and cats that you have on a farm. You pet a cat too much, it will pet you in kind by bringing you back half-dead animals for you to finish off.
And also, like the thing of it's like I can't not let the cat be on my lap, and it's like it's making you polishing those pumpkins like really fucking difficult on your back because you have to overreach the cat. But the cat's too cute; you can't not.
And then yes, the worker turned the cat away, saying, "I don't want that half-dead animal." So the cat took it behind a basket, murdered it, and brought it back dead. There you go.
It being full dead does not improve it any, actually.
Well, you can't look after yourself. You're not capable of killing your own prey.
There's a thing between cats. Sometimes it's a kindness. Other times it's them looking down on you. It's a weird combination. As this episode gets into who's stupider, dogs or cats, they're both stupid, but in different ways. So yeah.
Our cats are all farm cats, and
very serious cats. Then, is it?
They were very much like this, but they'd also somehow know it when it was your birthday and bring you a dad.
They're paying attention to what's going around. I guess that if they see other people giving you things, it's like, oh, I better give them something. Yeah.
There's one particular drawing of a cat in this cartoon. It's the one where the black cat is presenting the dead pigeon. It's got its tongue stuck out the side of its mouth. And then they run through all the dogs that they've had on the farm.
I love because the cats kind of find you, and the dogs are found, taken in. One dog found a different dog, and they had to get another dog because that dog got sad when the dog he found died. And I was just like, yeah, that's dogs as well. It's just like it's an ever-running mill of them.
Yes. And the last dog is a relative said, you want him, and brought him over. And apparently they're all, but one of them were good at hunting mice. One's too stupid to think they're getting a treat when they're getting a vaccination.
And then it's like, what the fuck? Why did I get stabbed instead of getting a treat? Because when you hear the package opening, it's like, oh fuck, that's a treat, as opposed to a syringe that's gonna fucking fill you full of good stuff, basically. But you don't know that, you're a dog.
The dog who thought half a bucket's full of mice but didn't get a good boy, so therefore put all the mice out of the bucket and laid them out in a row.
See, that's the kind of thing people think about. Oh, that's just a cat habit, not a dog habit. Dogs can't be salty, and it's like, oh, dogs can be very fucking salty if you don't fucking praise them.
The way I read it was like, they were like, the human didn't notice that I caught those mice because I put
let me just spread them all over the fucking floor so he fucking sees, or she sees.
Out the bucket so she sees, yeah. What was the last thing? Was like,
like what the thing about having cats is you see a lot less chipmunks around basically when you have a cat.
It was the cat side of things was definitely relatable from my experience.
We've had dogs and cats, so yeah, a lot of it was very like, yep, that's having pets.
Yes, the only thing which would make it even more relatable is if they had a bit where the dogs were afraid of the cats, because that was how one of our cats was. Any neighborhood dog or visiting dog would back off.
Hmm.
You knew how to make the right noises and make yourself a little bigger than it was.
Yeah, yeah. I gotta say that we didn't have like farm dogs or cats or whatever, but we had like living in the country kind of stuff. I always found the dogs were better at catching mice. Like I think it's because maybe with Jack Russells and stuff, so they're more likely to go after a small little runny thing. But very much so clamped down and done. No messing, none of the playing with it like a cat is like, I'm just doing a fucking job here, like a hitman, basically.
Yeah, I think that's generally the part of it is like, well, I need to. This is also me training for next time.
Yeah, it's part of their hunting instinct. Yeah, yeah.
Then we've got Ikimono-san pilot episode. Because apparently it wasn't on TV this week, so they stuck the pilot episode. Tori-san. Unlike the regular episodes, had that English title on the screen.
Yeah, yeah. So presumably they're not just keeping this on YouTube for a bit, and they're also bringing it to other places with this pilot. Yeah.
Yeah. So the animation's slightly different, the presentation's slightly different from the original, but it is still a tale of a boy fantasizing about. It's clear. It's clearer where the fantasy begins. It's when he snaps his pants.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the indicator. All right.
This version where they've done away with that. So the line between fantasy and reality
it blurs considerably. Yeah, in the other episodes so far.
But yes, they get a bird, or the dog gets the bird to like rub the boy's head.
Because he's fantasizing about running around in a circle while the bird holds out a wing and brushes against his face as he runs around. Or actually, sorry, he's running past it really quickly, but in reality, he's just running around in a circle because he's lazy. And I think he changes eventually, so he's just spinning on like a stripper pole, like the laziest way you can spin on the spot, basically. The least effort way, yeah.
Yeah.
But to do this, the bird wants the dog to be a bird?
That's it. I knew the dog turned into a bird at some point. I was
like that's the bird's part of the deal. It's like, all right, if I'm gonna fucking help your kid out, you gotta help my kids out. That kind of fucking thing, or something like that. Anyway, and then the dog is it? I think it's a goose or something. The dog is basically acting like a baby goose, and he's actually delighted by this, paddling after them as they're swimming in the river and shit.
Yeah. Well, they put the episodes back up that were taken down.
Did they? Oh, fucking A. Because now I feel bad about recommending this show to people. It's like, you got to get on it now. Like, you don't have time to waste. That's good that they put them up again. Okay.
No, maybe not. No, but they haven't taken down last week's episode yet.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I know they occasionally did they do occasional ones where they redub it with a different set of comedians?
Yeah, they have it in they changed the format. I've forgotten what is it YouTube Shorts? It's like in the TikTok freaking portrait format. Where it's like a little short bit. They do that one as well. They do put up those. Those are fun. I like their episodes best, but yeah, it's nice to have a bit of a messing around with it as well. Because it's a messing around show. It's fine.
Yeah, this was interesting to see, like, the prototype, but it definitely also feels. It doesn't feel like the finished show.
It's still very funny. I was still laughing at it, but it's less like wild and fucking weird, and sometimes a little uncomfortable in the way that makes you laugh harder, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. And it doesn't feel quite so packed with incident within its running time. Though I see it is slightly shorter than regular episodes.
Yeah, I wasn't actually timing it. I did like that. Again, we go to the unreality of this fantasy, and then back to reality, and everyone's just asleep, dreaming of this unreality in a big pile. Which, as a way to end it, I'm like, yeah, that is a good thing. You don't have to end it that way each time, which is why the show we've been watching up to this point, it just goes like, did this happen? It doesn't matter. It's weird. We're having fun.
And that's it for this week. Is there a fancy One Piece episode coming up?
Yeah, good question.
Check to see what was up this week? Was it the Bartholomew episode?
I thought I saw one that was like a recap, but maybe that was prior.
Yeah,
week.
that was the Bartholomew one because he just episodes now. Yeah. So no, there wasn't a new episode. So I think 1074 might be worth. Yes, because the promo was like it's Luffy's final attack to take Kaido out.
Okay, cool.
So
Yeah, that'll be a big one.
I guess technically that won't be next week's episode. That'll be in the following episode for our podcast.
Yeah, just to put it in the calendar, basically, to keep an eye out for it.
Let's quickly check Detective Code out in case they've gone nuts. I don't think they have.
Yeah, sometimes they catch us by doing a few canon ones in a row.
Yes, they have caught us out before. Detective Conan wiki.
We haven't missed a lot of the big revelations recently, so we've been doing all right.
Yeah. No, there was just one where we had to watch 3 episodes in one.
Do the whole mystery in one. Yeah.
I can't find it. Lost the bookmark. Okay, well, I don't doubt there will be, so I suspect, I think there's a Zom 100. Yes, I think there is.
Yeah. And then it's kind of debatable as to when the one after that will be.
So next week we'll be watching stuff which came out today. So Jujutsu Kaisen, I think, is back as well.
Oh, okay.
Because the other thing we could talk about is live action One Piece.
That is a One Piece that we should probably at least poke in on. Actually, I did take your advice and watch the Japanese dub of the live action One Piece by the original voice actors. And it's weird because like Luffy sounds like more subdued because I guess she's not playing a cartoon character. She's playing an actual like real life flesh and blood boy. So she has to kind of like dial it back a little. And it's slightly odd, but it kind of works pretty well for it. I mean, she's good at what she does. I kind of expected it to be good, but I'm just, it's weird, man. I don't know if it's going to be awful or fun, or I think at the very least it's probably going to bring like new people into it. People who check this out is like, hey, I enjoyed that, and then they might enjoy the comic or the anime more when they go into it.
They put the final trailer out today, and it was even better than the last trailer. So I'm tentatively looking forward to it. I
am curious. Like I can't help but be curious about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like more effort's been made than they made with the Cowboy Bebop. Also,
yeah,
here's the difference. It's a comic being adapted into live action. It's not a cartoon being adapted into live action.
Yeah, and they seem to be changing the order a little, which in a way that I hope benefits the story overall. Yeah.
And there's plenty of good examples of comics getting adapted into live action. So far fewer of things which started out as a cartoon being adapted into live action. That does seem a little trickier. But yeah, if anything else, probably going to be worth it for all the production in terms of sets and costumes and
I mean, like they've obviously went like really fucking far with all the especially like the bigger sets, like the ships and everything. But it's a weird kind of combination of it's like halfway between cartoony and going for realism because obviously it's real people walking around, and it's still weird, like because Arlong does not fucking work in reality, but you gotta try and make Arlong work because he's really important.
Yes. I don't think Arlong makeup. I think that Arlong makeup is as good as you're gonna get for physical makeup.
Yeah.
I think if you wanted anything else, then it starts to become a cartoon on a human person.
Yeah, the best I can think of is like you get a Muppet of Arlong, which you do want a person acting as Arlong is the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see if we have the old octopus lad.
Oh, Hachi, yeah. Because you seen the manta ray dude in the trailer and everything, so some of them are there at least. They might have pared it back to make it more streamlined though.
Yes, but Hachi's the guy I'm thinking if he's in it, then there may have to be some CG involved in him due to
it's either that or you got like two guys standing behind another guy.
You could, I guess, you could do a green screen as well. You could,
yeah. It's
you could have
it's
other people
feasible, but you're going to want to turn the camera away from him for budgetary reasons. Yeah.
Compensate it. Anyway, I mean, the good thing is the butler looks like a sheep man in the trailer.
Yeah.
So that is a good sign. Because that feels like a character you could not go that far with the character design. You'd be like, oh, you did not bother making him a sheep man. But,
yeah, you could have just made him like a regular butler as opposed to a sheep man for no good reason. He's not a man who's a sheep. He's just a man who looks like a sheep. Don't question it.
There'll be actual sheep men down the line, but not yet.
Dear. Yeah, it's a mad thing, and I'm one of the things I'm kind of curious about. Even if I don't fucking like it, I'm curious about the reaction it's kind of going to get. Whether people will like it, whether people will be like, "The fuck is this? Is this the thing people have been going on about this whole time?" I'm curious. It'll be interesting at the very least.
I think the early reviews are all good, but that might just be because they give it to people who they thought would give it good reviews. But they seem to be like fairly glowing reviews, not just like,
okay,
it's pretty good. Also, yeah, the other question is, can Netflix afford to make any more than one series?
That is another fucking thing, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, we shall wait and see. But yeah, I'm definitely, it's one of the things I'm most intrigued by of recent times, because yeah, I was never against it as a concept, because you see people who say, well, when I heard about it, I just thought it was going to be terrible. But now I've seen all these trailers, I'm looking forward to it. I was like, yeah, I was never at that point with it.
I was just kind of against it in terms of it being One Piece is very cartoony, and it continues to get cartoonier, and it's such an odd thing to adapt to live action because of that. Do you know what I mean? At least I get the logic of Cowboy Bebop, where it's just like, I mean, like, it doesn't work because, again, you're adapting it, like you say, an animation to live action. It doesn't quite work as well. But if you're, like you say, using the comic as your storyboards and as your basis, it's maybe easier to adapt to live action. Yeah.
Yes, I also think possibly because One Piece is more ridiculous, you kind of have to try harder.
Yeah. There's definitely, it seems like there's more budget in this, more money put behind it. Yeah.
Definitely, for sure, because the sets in what little I saw of Cowboy Bebop looked cheap, but not in a way that worked.
What was in universe cheap, lived in cheap. Yeah.
Because I feel like you could probably make a better Cowboy Bebop one for less than what they spent on it.
Yeah, for sure. Like I was kind of thinking of. I mean, like it's a good looking show, but I was thinking of like Star Wars Andor, where it looks like a very lived in universe. That's the kind of thing you want for it, and it's just about doing the set design right and the costuming right. But like, to make the world look lived in, it wouldn't be as expensive, and then you could save all your CG shit for spaceship battles and shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah, or not bother with that and just make it a character comedy.
That too.
Just take the cowboy and the episode as your goal, rather than the five serious episodes.
Yeah, the premise again, like get that right, and you don't have to adapt it. You could do a new fucking story if you come up with something good. Like that's fine.
Yep. But I don't think we'll get any more live action Cowboy Bebop, and
No.
probably even less chance of live action Space Dandy.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it for this week. We will be back with more, and hopefully more of us next week.
Ta
for now.